Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So all men are dogs, sister. Really? Is that really true? Now listen, I want you to have your boyfriend or husband listen to today's episode. What's kind of cool is a lot of you actually share with me that they do already, which is awesome. But yeah, have them listen to this episode today. And just so you know, brother, you're listening right now, this is not an episode to bash you. So take a deep breath, don't have to be tense about it. But I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Men, I did an episode about this way back at the beginning and of this podcast, which came out almost 2.5 years ago, and it was something like "Men, Step the Fuck Up." I'll put the link to this in the show notes. But I say this to you, brother, with love. I say this to you with love, and I say this to you with experience because of all the communication I've had with women over the last couple of years. And quite honestly, what I've just observed is a woman, as a 48-year-old woman, and as someone who's been with the same man for 25 years and married for 17 of those. So I have some results to share with you. I have data from what women share with me all around the world, and there's a lot of universal things that go on here. And I do this because I give a fuck. And I'm going to tell the truth about the things that I'm really seeing. So let's get into this. Number one, relationship and marriage is two people, okay? There are a lot of women that message me about shit that they don't like about their husband or their boyfriends and how it's his fault. And like, listen, I get it. If someone has done something to you, cheated on you, not shown up for you, I understand that feeling of victim. I understand that feeling of, well, fuck him, right? I get it. I haven't had that experience, but like, I can understand where you are coming from. Men, if you've had this experience with your wives, she's cheated on me. She wasn't there for me. She disconnects from me and pours everything into the children. What do I hear from women? All he does is work. He just goes and hangs out with his bros, fucking golfs and like watches sports. Like, where is the man who's my husband? Where is this man who is a father to our children? And at the heart of this comes down to this. This is again for both of you now to hear. You're not fucking telling each other what you want and what you need from each other. Period. And you are both thinking that that other person should read your fucking mind. Maybe they can. They're like, yeah, but no, Karen, we know each other so well. We finish each other's sentences. I get it. We dress alike some days. That's so cool. How cute of you. You don't have the fucking ability to read someone's mind. You don't. And you certainly can't get upset when they are not showing up the way that you want them to, and you've never told them what the fuck that is. In order for you to get some clarity on what you want from that person, here's the thing that's going to fuck with you the most, is you have to figure out you first. Your marriage has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with you. Your happiness is not dependent on the other person that lies in the bed next to you. It's not. It's up to you. And until you get some understanding as to who you are, it's very difficult to make any of this other shit work. Because what comes along with that is that if you don't understand who you are, if you don't know truly what you want, then all you have is a reactive relationship. So when stuff comes up that you don't like, you get triggered, you go, it's them. I don't like this. Stop showing up this way. Fucking do this for me. Asshole, bitch. Fuck you. And guess what? If I don't like the responses I'm getting, then maybe I'm going to go find it in somebody else. Maybe I'm going to find it at the bottom of a bottle. Maybe I'm going to find it in this weed. In this bottle of wine. On Facebook, at the gym, in shopping, in porn. Yeah, there's a number of different ways to numb. It's all the same though. The biggest problem that's happening that I see within marriage and relationships, and I've had a lot of friends, like people I know, where I'm just like, and they're getting divorced, and then they are, like, what the hell's going on here? not only is it this not understanding who you are, which by the way, that is your job, is to figure out you. Not only is there not the communication happening of like, well, here's what I want and here's why it really matters to me and what do you want and need from me, sweetheart, is that you're unwilling to confront. And so you stuff that resentment and anger and sadness, depression and jealousy and regret and, did I say anger? Anger. By the way, man, women feel anger too. We feel anger big fucking time. You have no idea. You're socialized as men to somehow think it's, like it's part of you to have that, like, man, like, there's like somehow like there's a physicality that's different for you as men, or there's an energy different for you as men. And there is. But we have it too. Sure do. And the women stuff it down. And I know the men do too. But here's what I've seen. Here's what was my experience with my husband for a number of years. Let's get really real about this, okay? So I would get pissed at my husband as to things that he didn't do or didn't say or didn't show up. And same thing, like I didn't have the conversation. I just expected my husband to read my mind. You should just know, because it's like in the movies. It's like The Notebook. Like, we want you all to be Ryan Gosling or something. It's ridiculous, right? And so then I would get pissed and he'd go, what's wrong? And I go, nothing. I'm fine. Wasn't fine. It was a lie. And every single one of those moments was like a bullet. And I would take my fucking gun, my machine gun of like insanity, and every single moment, that conversation, let me put that fucking ammunition in my gun. Let me put that one in. Let me put that one. Until it gets to a point where you can't hold that stuff down any longer. And I would just unload. For the stupidest shit, right? And I know that each of you had these experiences where you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? It came from a lack of communication. It came from a lack of understanding who you are. It came from a lack and a willingness to confront and to tell the truth without the drama, without the stories, to make agreements with each other. And more importantly, based on what you want. And men, here's the thing you need to know about women. Women, we have been led to believe, we've been lied to, that everybody else's needs come first. And I know that you might believe that too. You might go, well, it's my wife's job to take care of the kids. It's my wife's job to stay up all night and do this fucking shit with the kids puking and getting sick. It's her job to do that because she's the woman. And I get it. And maybe your wife is a stay-at-home mom, or she does more of taking care of the kids than you do because of whatever arrangements or work commitments or whatever else that's going on. And what happens is, in the midst of pouring ourselves into children, women lose sense of who the fuck they are and what they want. To the point of, I ask a lot of them what they want and they haven't a clue. They believe that every move that they make is going to be dependent on what their husband needs, what their kids need, what their families need, what their friends need. If they work, what their clients, their customers, their employees, their boss needs. And then maybe they're at the bottom of that. So just know, when you start to open the conversation of, sweetheart, what do you want? Don't be surprised when she goes, I don't know. Don't be surprised if she might give you a list of what she doesn't want. Start there. Start communicating. So why am I even speaking about this in the podcast today? I mean, sure, I talk about marriage. Sure, I talk about relationship. Sure, I talk about these difficult things. But here's the biggest piece why. My marriage has been the pivotal piece in my own personal transformation. Period. I know that might sound kind of fucking woo-woo, but like, this is the honest truth. You have the ability in your relationship, which you now stand in, whether that's on firm feet or things are a little rocky right now and uncertain, and maybe even start to talk about separation, divorce, and start to have those conversations. But I'm telling you right now, your marriage can be the biggest fucking transformation in your life too. Your marriage matters. We live in a society, relationships are fucking disposable, and it makes me sick. And it affects our children. Now, are there certain situations where relationships are not meant to be? Of course. But I'm going to have you consider it's a lot less than people fucking think. It certainly isn't the 50%. Like, that's some fucking bullshit to think like, wait a second, I have to do work in this relationship? Yes. You want a fucking body in the gym? You work for it. You want a certain, status within your business, dollars in your bank account, the promotion, the expansion of your own business. It takes fucking work. Relationships are no different with your wife, with your husband, with your children. And I know a lot of men that pour themselves into business and they are good providers for their family financially. And there is nothing wrong with that. Do that for your family. That is a beautiful gift to give them. But do not do it at the sacrifice of every fucking thing else. Women do the same for their family. They are providers. A lot more of this ends more traditionally of the nurturing, the love, all that stuff. But then do it at the sake of everything else. Their marriage, their own health. Men, you do it at the sake of your marriage and your children and your health. Actually, usually all three of those things. And feel that you can't do all those things, but I'm telling you that it is possible. I live this life, and so does my husband. It's what we both speak in our messages. Your marriage matters. Do not fucking give up on it. Start to have the situations, and it's going to fucking hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. It will be like dancing, and you've never danced before. You're going to be stepping on each other's feet. Like, it is going to happen. And if you want to create a marriage of whatever you want that to look like, it will take work. It is constantly investing into it. But I'm telling you right now, it is fucking worth it. You're worth it. Your marriage relationship is worth it. And maybe you're hearing this message when it's towards the end of it and there's nothing that can be done to save it. And maybe that's true. But what if it's not? What if it's not? The shit you're going through in your marriage relationship right now could be fuel for you to become a better, greater, amazing, incredible human, to really discover who you are and to do that with your partner alongside of you. Do you know the fucking power that you possess together as a couple to create shit and build an empire in your life? It's massive, and you're throwing it all away, and you're each going down your own paths and pointing fingers at each other. And stop that fucking shit. That is high school. It does not have to be that way. And listen, I've lived on both sides, so I'm speaking from experience with this because I pointed my finger at my husband. He pointed the finger at me. Our marriage or relationship has not been easy. It shouldn't. It's life. But the benefits, the other side of that, the deep love and respect. I've been with my husband for 25 years and like a month from now. There is no other man I would rather be with. I mean that. This isn't something that sounds good. I'm more attracted to my husband every single day. And I mean that. It's been a lot of patience for me working on me and him working on himself for us to get to here. This did not happen overnight. This did not. So here's your more tip for both of you together as a couple to do today is sit with each other, sit with yourself first, create some space and just what do I want in my marriage, my relationship? What do I want for me? What do I want from that person? What will really fill me up? What would make me truly fucking happy? You need to make yourself happy, but what is it that you want within your marriage? So both of you create the space to do that. I don't care. Go on a date night, sit at Starbucks at separate tables, write it down in a journal. Don't just have it in your head. And then the second piece of this, set up a time in the next 48 hours to have the conversation and share this and be expected for some ammunition to maybe come your way. It's okay. It's a beginning. Get clear on the things that you want. So I like getting flowers. My husband gives me flowers, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, occasionally kind of here and there. Until I finally just said, and I would drop hints. I wouldn't even say, it was almost passive aggressive, wouldn't be a bad thing if I got flowers every week. What is it, $20-$30? Do you know how happy that makes me just to be I love you. I want to give you these flowers. It means a lot to me. And in my head, I'd be going, it's just so easy. Why don't you do it? Till I finally said to my husband, literally 5-6 weeks ago, I'm honey, I want flowers every week. It means the world to me. And you know what? You can probably even set up with the flower shop that you just have a credit card and they just send the flowers every single week. You don't even have to do anything. I got really clear on what I wanted. And you might think that's trite. That's what I want. That's what I want. It means something to me. It might not mean something to you. You might not even understand why your wife would want a certain thing. Or your husband would need a certain thing. I now get flowers once a week. I got clearer. And you can get the same clarity on these little things with the big things in your life too. How you parent, what you want to create together in your marriage. How you feel loved, all of these things. Your marriage matters. Listen to this episode 2 or 3 times if you need to. And my intention really is that you really take this episode to heart. What's most fulfilling for me as a leader of women, as a coach, the women that come through my live events, listen to the podcast, coach with me on some realm, is that when they come back and go, we're having date nights again. I feel loved. I feel attractive and I feel attracted to him. Our kids are seeing us happier. I'm modeling what a loving, solid, committed relationship looks like. I feel honest and free. I don't feel like I'm holding back any secrets anymore. That lights me up. This is why I'm speaking to you this way in this episode. Have that conversation. I'm telling you, it will not be an easy path, but it'll be the one that'll give you the most freedom within your life. Not just your marriage. Not just your marriage. So, for the women listening, to be able to journal, you can get a journal for free. Okay, I'm going to send this to you. This is my gift to you. I want you right now to head over to drkarenosborn.com/free journal. You can win limited edition Women Wanting More journals and all sorts of other amazing Women Wanting More swag. So I will talk the next episode, sister, and maybe brother too. Maybe I'll get you listening to the podcast on a regular basis. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you. And listen, your marriage matters deeply to me. Make it matter deeply to you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.